Hello people and welcome to another Carcassonne analysis video. In this video we will be taking a look at a game that was played on January 12th, 2025 between myself and a very strong Japanese master, RabbitRain. It is a game that I ended up losing, and it is a game that ended up costing me my all-time high ELO world record. Now, a short backstory for this game is that I had been watching RabbitRain steadily climbing his way towards my previous world record, and seeing that no one was able to really stop him, I decided that I guess I am going to have to do that myself. And after that, I ended up losing 3 games to him in a row and ended up losing my world record and ended up feeling like a dumbass. The only good thing for me after all of those 3 games was that I felt like I was able to give RabbitRain a challenge, and I can proudly say that I tried to defend my world record. Let's get into the game and see how exactly did RabbitRain beat me. So he starts off with a monastery, and of course meeples it. You always want to meeple pretty much everything in the beginning. We start a city of our own and immediately get attacked by red. We start a new city in a safe spot, and we also are trying to perhaps go over here with a triangle and then a triple city and then simply complete this city with 2 city caps later on, kind of absorbing this attack to our advantage. Red picks up the only road on the board, and by doing so he renders the crossroad in our hand completely useless. Obviously, we don't want to use this crossroad as a road end for our opponent over here, and the only other spot to place the crossroad to is next to our opponent's monastery, and that is exactly what we are going to do. Red picks up a city next to his monastery, which is all fine and good. And we decide to take 2 points to ourselves and also turn the city cap so that it is facing to the left, so that when it gets taken, it will be restricting this square of red with his city and with his monastery, and it will be laying out a blocking opportunity for me to completely block these 2 meeples later on. A loop started by red, and they also create a monastery square next to their previous monastery so that they can start simply stacking new monasteries on top of the previous ones. We continue our blocking, and we are even more preparing to block this same square after the city gets taken, which it does by red, which is a bit odd to me. Red is playing with some fire over here with this square, but he deems that these immediate 4 points plus a potential 8-point monastery and a small window for growth for this potential ruin are going to be enough of a compensation in case this square really does get blocked and he loses both of those meeples. Unfortunately, we do not get a blocking tile, but we are able to take 2 points for the road. An alternative decision could have been to go over here and proceed with our plan of kind of absorbing this one meeple of red over here. Now the issue with that plan is that this feature isn't really worth all that much. It is only worth currently a total of 4 points, and it would be quite a time-taking feature to try and finish later on. Which is why immediately just simply taking 2 points sounded pretty good to me. Unfortunately, red immediately gets their starting tile and is able to successfully save both of their meeples, but since there was really nothing that we could have done to prevent that from happening, we just have to make do. And we do get a very nice 5-point monastery spot. We don't really want to be taking this 6-point monastery spot next to Red's monastery because we would be making that move with a road monastery, and that would then allow Red to easily make use out of that road end by getting 2 curves and easily finishing their road. Some easy quick points for Red. And we are able to start stacking monasteries of our own. Now we could technically still use this monastery spot next to Red's monastery, now that the monastery comes without a road, but this spot is no longer as juicy for us as it was with our first monastery, because we would not be able to use monastery stacking ourselves. Then we would have 2 6-point monasteries separate from each other, and trying to build separate monasteries is a very inefficient process to try and do. Red playing a really safe move here with the unification of the cities, preventing me from going over here with a Dorito and then a triple city, or as I have in my hand, a splitter, and then trying to get a triple city over here and actually finish a 10 or a 12-point city. Now there were also some alternative moves. He could have gone over here, finish his road and drop a farmer, or even maybe here and continue their city and also prepare a blocking platform for these monasteries. We are finally going to start doing something with that 1-point city of ours at the top, and we are going to try and build it up. And we also start a new city, so now we can efficiently use extenders and all kinds of city caps, plus Doritos over here, or maybe even triple cities over here if we so want to. Normal move by Red, finishing their road and starting a field. We are also doing a pretty normal move, but with a bit of an advanced twist. So we of course are adding 2 points to our monasteries, 1 point for each, and we are also going to be meepling this road, this 1-point road, instead of this 2-point road, because our end goal here is that we want to limit this city of Red on this square to the final remaining starting tile, as 1, 2, and 3 are already gone and only 1 is in the deck at the moment. Furthermore, in case Red gets a city plus road tile, most likely it will be a road tile with a curve or with a road of some sort which points to the left. So by meepling this 1-point road, we are going to be preventing Red from going over here and simply grabbing a free 4-point road for themselves. And red indeed does get a road plus city tile. They do get dagger, and they decide to go for this loop road, which was exactly why we pre-meepled this road. So now this 4-point loop is very likely going to be simply shared. The issue with this move for red is that this straight up exposes a blocking platform to their city. We will be able to block this city with any road tile, and we are immediately going to be doing so because there are still all but one city caps left in the deck to this square, so 5 vanillas and 1 divider. So it is way too dangerous to not block immediately. We also meeple the city cap so that our opponent will not be having access to a easy 4-point move with any city cap that they would have in hand. Red goes for the blocking of my monasteries, also seeing of course that there is one and only one starting tile in the deck, and this square is now vulnerable to that kind of a block. We continue our city with the most natural tile possible to us. And red does finish what they started. They have now successfully limited our monasteries to the one and final starting tile, but they do have to make a small concession and have to sacrifice that city cap away from their field. Now, making these 50-50 blocks with city caps or monasteries can be quite dangerous, simply for the fact that in case your opponent does end up getting that 50-50, and I would end up getting the starting tile here, then I not only finish my monastery, but I would also be able to get an additional 4 points with a city cap that was basically discarded by my opponents. Now, the reason why this block makes sense is because it affects on 2 monasteries, not only one, but 2 monasteries. And when several meeples are relying on a 50-50, then that is when 50-50 blocks are going to be actually beneficial. We continue our city again with a very natural tile. We are of course trying to get yet another triangle over here, and this one we are going to be trying to finish up with a city cap, or we could even, in the case where we get a triple city first, then we might even go over here with a triple city, direct it to the left, and then try and find a triangle over here to liberate both of my city meeples at the same time. Red adds 1 point to their road and also directs it upwards because there are now additional road tiles that they can easily connect with, and they are also adding a city start on their own field. Offering a platform to obstruct this monastery spot is not really dangerous at all, because there is still a road monastery, there are 2 regular monasteries, and there are also vanillas available, so this square is at the moment entirely unblockable. We finish one of our cities, and we specifically finish the one at the top for the sake that it would be quite terrible for us if red were to get a quad city and add that to our 1-point city at the top, thus forcing us to unify both of our cities, and it would just in general make this city completion very difficult, as our opponent could easily obstruct our cities then even further in the future with like a triangle over here or a triple city. And then we would be needing a dagger over here, plus, additional tiles in the center and at the top. Red starts a new juicy shielded city on their field, prepares an almost completed monastery spot, and also lays down another empty city cap on their field. We take 2 points and also add 1 extra point to our monastery. Red tries to block our city. And since we are unable to save or make a semi-save on our top city, we decide to simply take away our meeple on the left and finish a 4-point city there. A no-brainer monastery move for red, gaining 9 points immediately. And we are able to save our top city. And we are also going to be laying down a farmer as anticipation of finishing our city. The reason why we turn the city cap upwards is so that we will be able to use city tiles with roads to either immediately finish a 4-point city or start a new city at the top. As if we would turn the city cap to the left, then of course we would only be able to complete or start this city with city plus field tiles. And we also need city plus field tiles already elsewhere. We need them over here and over here to either finish our own city or to attack the city of red. It is also noteworthy that we do not want to face this city cap downwards, as even though it would be saving our city to the 3 remaining triple cities with a field, by doing this, we now have 5 tiles to finish our city, 4 field Doritos plus a divider. So we simply have more tiles to finish the city, like so. Red takes back their meeple, and we are immediately able to finish our city, getting a nice chunk of points on our scoreboard and catching up on it rather significantly. The final regular monastery goes to red, and they do also meeple it in a decent spot. They are now controlling this empty city cap on our field, and also they do have a lot of meeples they can get out in the future. They can get this meeple out with any city cap, or they can get this or this road meeple out with any crossroad. With that said, they don't really have a meeple shortage, even though they only have 1 meeple in hand at the moment. I decided to forego the 4 points at the top simply to prevent an 8-point city from being completed on our opponent's field by our opponent. And since we are having at least a temporary meeple advantage, I would also like to keep things that way, and by equalizing our opponent's features, meaning this city, that does achieve exactly that. So it will at least temporarily keep our opponent at a meeple disadvantage. 4 points to red as they complete the vacant city. We really didn't have any great moves for this extender. We could have potentially went over here, try to get a triangle and a triple city and then overrun the city. But given that already 4 triple cities are out and also a bunch of triangles, I didn't really like this plan. And also what this extender does over here is it takes away this easy field attacking opportunity from the top, even though there are still, of course, two other potential field attacking options, one on the left and one on the right. But when it comes with an additional benefit of slightly being able to potentially obstruct the monastery in the future, I deemed this spot to be the juiciest out of the options that I had available. Red adds 1 point to the monastery. Now it does come with a cost of actually adding a city cap to my field, which I am actually not such a fan of if I were to be red, but it does still make sense because he still has quite a few meeples that are recoverable, and he is likely to attack on this field in the future. So it doesn't really matter that it grows to 12 points. Not many great moves we could do with a simple curve, so we simply decide to go and prepare a blocking platform on the monastery over here and trying to restrict that to a starting tile. Our blocking move is answered in kind by red, who adds a triple city at the bottom. What they are trying to achieve is going for the full block of these two monasteries, which have been sitting there like ducks for quite a long time. Although we are not able to fully save our monasteries, we are able to make a semi-save, and we also do get 2 points in the process from the road. And also with two meeples and our meeples being threatened with a full block, meepling a new monastery would be rather reckless at this point. Red makes a great move, finishes their road, and also drops another farmer with a loop. So their plan here is pretty obvious. They are trying to expand their main field of 9 points into a field of 15 points. And a 15-point field is already worthy investment of a second meeple, especially when it comes with the intention of potentially overrunning my top field of 9 points and just simply adding extra cities to the main field of red. Since we are at the moment a bit behind in points, I do indeed decide to simply take those 4 points and allow the unification of red's field meeples, strengthening the hold on red's field from 1 meeple to 2. And I am now aiming to also block this connection to the starting tile so that the worst doesn't happen, the worst being that my 9-point field would be overrun by red, as mentioned earlier. A simple quick point tile used as a quick point tile by red, taking 2 points, and they also indirectly defend their monastery, as it is now harder for me to place a city tile over here and to try and block their monastery to the one remaining starting tile. We are trying to proceed with our plan of limiting this square. After adding a straight road over here, we are now going to be able to restrict that square both with road tiles as well as with the field tiles. Red makes the full block on my monasteries. It is notable to mention that this monastery was actually already dead even without that triple city of red, ever since I added this road monastery there myself, as even if I were to get a starting tile on this square, then in turn this square would be restricted to a starting tile, which would then no longer exist. So in fact, this move is not a block of 2 meeples, but a block of 1 meeple. Still a worthy move to do, no doubt. We get a dagger and we do dagger things. We take 4 points and we add a city to our field. Now, even though we could have proceeded with our plan of blocking this square, we would not have been able to do it with a 100% guarantee with this tile, as there would have still been another dagger in the deck plus the starting tile. So a move like this with a dagger or a move like this with a dagger would not guarantee a full block of the square. And I really do hate using city caps to make a blocking move, especially if I can get points with it immediately. So I will rather simply wait for less valuable tiles to try and block that square entirely. Red making a bit of an empty move, just simply adding a Dorito on their field doesn't really achieve much. It doesn't really grow the size of the field, and it also doesn't really bother the attack on the city. And even if it would, I wouldn't really care, because connecting to this city is not actually even important, as upon completion, this city would also bring points to the field, and this connection is only worth 2 points in city points, but 3 points in field points. So if we were to make this connection with a Dorito, then it would actually be a -1 point move. The only case in which we will make this connection is if we decide to also meeple the field and attack this main field. We now proceed with our plan of threatening to block this square, or depending on the tile we get, we may even go here with a road tile and add a farmer and then connect everything together by ourselves and then equalize the 15-point field of red with 2 meeples of our own. Red simply adds a point to their monastery, and given that there are still 4 regular curves remaining that would fit into this square and liberate this red meeple, I decide to block it straight away. Red restricts this connection from 2 Doritos to only 1, and they also take away the option from us of dropping a farmer there upon connection. Now, like I said earlier, depending on the tile we get, we can also go for this idea. So we can drop another farmer and then we can try to get a regular curve and we can try to equalize this 15-point field of red. Now, even though this successful connection of these 2 farmers would actually only net in +3 points because of our 12-point field over here, we are still quite significantly behind at the moment. We are, with all features counted, we are at -10 points. So one way that we can try to do to win this game is we can actually try to overrun all fields. So not only is our plan now to bring this farmer and this farmer to the main 15-point field with a curve, but our plan is also to even use our final meeple and bring it to the main field as a third one and completely overrun everything. Now, unfortunately, red is smart and they see the idea that we are trying to go for of potentially being able to overrun every field. They now drop a third farmer of their own and it is unfortunately also dropped to a spot that is entirely unblockable with one tile. So there is still a dagger to go over here. There are multiple curves, and there are also road tiles that are able to fit there and bring that third farmer in. Furthermore, what is also not going well for us is that because we are behind on the scoreboard, if this red farmer gets to the field, it is highly unlikely that we will be able to overrun everything, which is why we have to revise our plan, and we are gonna have to not only just equalize the field, but we also have to score those missing 10 points with our final meeple, and after scoring those 10 points, we then have to bring that third farmer into the field, assuming that this third farmer of red is unified. Which is why we will not be using this crossroad to try and restrict the access to the field from red. We will instead simply take 2 points, and we will prepare a 3-point spot. And also what we do is we entirely block off this crossroad spot so that red will not be able to recover a meeple from that spot with a city crossroad. Red connects, and we are going to be laying down some simple city caps in order for us to be able to actually gain those juicy quick points. Now, in hindsight, this placement of the starting tile is definitely not the best, because in case red gets all 3 remaining regular curves, then we are offering them a platform to make it harder for us to connect via this square. Because red doesn't necessarily need to connect all fields together. They simply need to not lose this main field or let me equalize it. So pretty much anywhere really is better to place this starting tile to than here. Like we can place it over here at the top. We can place it like 1 square lower, 2 squares lower. We can place it even over here actually, which would be actually really good. It would be really good because here it would create not only that quick point opportunity, but also it would be creating a field connection opportunity later on, like going over here with any city tile and then bam, we connect with one tile to the main field. Red takes away that quick point opportunity from us, understandably so. We are still trying our best to gain all those necessary quick points. Red, very wisely, still finds a way to take advantage of a regular curve. They are going to be trying to protect this square a little because there is still 1 road Dorito remaining. So potentially red can even get a meeple back into their hand and also create yet another city to their main field. Given that red is at the moment ahead 17 points, so the difference between these 2 cities and this main 15-point field, the only thing red has to do is to make sure that I don't get onto this field and get extra points by scoring quick points. Since there are still city caps left in the remaining tiles, we are going to be trying to still create those scoring opportunities, and we are going to be simply laying down city caps outside the field of red. At this point, there is unfortunately nothing left to be done. We are still behind these 2 small points plus this main 15-point field. So the best we can do is we simply connect our first farmer to the main field and then use both of our 2 remaining tiles to try and bring also another farmer to that field and just simply minimize the score difference for the end of the game. But there is no way to win for us, unfortunately, any longer. This is now only about optimization of points. Red takes away a city cap, which is really irrelevant because they also know that we do not have a chance to win this game any longer. Now, since the 3 remaining tiles in the deck are a tube divider, a city crossroad, as well as a regular curve, we have 2 ways of trying to get our second meeple to the main 15-point field. We can either go at the bottom and drop a ninja farmer, trying to get ourselves the curve and hoping for our opponent to get a tube divider first and only then the city crossroad. Or we can go over on the left, which seemingly looks like more dangerous because there is a clear blocking platform to prevent our connection to the field. But with the remaining tiles, we are banking on exactly the same sequence. So our opponent getting a tube divider, which they cannot use for blocking, and then us getting a regular curve to connect, and then only our opponent getting the city crossroad. So because I like to be a little bit flashier and I think that going on the left shows a bit more knowledge of the remaining tiles, we go on the left. Though again, it doesn't actually matter because we are hoping still the same exact sequence. That sequence does not happen. Our opponent gets the regular curve, unites all fields, and we are left with absolutely nothing. There's also nothing we can do with this city crossroad, so we simply dump it at the bottom, and red also just simply dumps a city tile on the right. So this, ladies and gentlemen, is the way I lost my world record of 876 elo, which I held ever since February 2024. And after this game, RabbitRain was at 879, and he even managed to climb further than that. He reached 886. Now, funny enough, RabbitRain was only able to keep that record for about a month before, in February 2025, a Latvian guy named Alexei Pegushevs came and conquered with an elo of 894, which as of today of 29th of March still stands as the current elo world record on BGA. I hope you enjoyed this analysis. Do let me know in the comments if you did, and if you do like this type of Carcassonne content, then do show your love on the channel by pressing that subscribe button and give a like on the video, and I will see you soon with some more Carcassonne content. Bye for now.